Learn about the world. England. The United Kingdom is an independent country made up of 4 member countries: England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. The United Kingdom comprises the island of Great Britain, the northeastern part of the island of Ireland, and several smaller islands in the British Isles. It shares a land border with Scotland to the north and another land border with Wales to the west, and is otherwise surrounded by the North Sea to the east, the English Channel to the south, the Celtic Sea to the southwest and the Irish Sea to the west. Continental Europe lies to the southeast, and Ireland to the west. Basic information. English name: England. Government type: constitutional monarchy. ISO GB, GBR. Country domain: UK. Time zone: 0000. Telephone code: +44. Capital: London. Major cities: Belfast, Birmingham, Bradford, Bristol, Cardiff, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Leeds, Liverpool, Manchester, Sheffield. Area: 129,720 square kilometers. Terrain: 30% arable, 50% grassland, 12% urban, 7% forest, 1% inland water. Climate: very British. Over half of the days are overcast. Cool and temperate. Population: 69,494,620, May 2025. Major ethnicities: British, Irish, West Indian, South Asian. Religions: Anglican, Roman Catholic, Presbyterian, Muslim. Language: English. Natural resources: coal, oil, natural gas, tin, limestone, iron ore, salt, clay, chalk, gypsum, lead, silicon. Agricultural products: grains, edible oils, potatoes, vegetables, cattle, sheep, poultry, fish. Industrial products: machine tools, electrical equipment, automation equipment, railway equipment, shipbuilding, aircraft. Motor vehicles and parts, electronic and communications equipment, metals, chemicals, coal, petroleum, paper and paper products, food processing, textiles, other consumer goods. Exports: industrial goods, fuels, chemicals, food, beverages, tobacco. Export partners: USA, Germany, Switzerland, China, France, Netherlands, Ireland. Imports: industrial goods, machinery, fuels, food. Import partners: Germany, China, USA, Netherlands, France, Belgium. 5. Currency: British pound, pound, GBP. The diplomatic foreign relations of the United Kingdom are conducted by the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, headed by the Foreign Secretary. The Prime Minister and numerous other agencies play a role in setting policy, and many institutions and businesses have a voice and a role. The United Kingdom was the world's foremost power during the 19th and early 20th centuries. Most notably during the so-called Pax Britannica, a period of unrivaled supremacy and unprecedented international peace during the mid to late 1800s. The United Kingdom remains a great power and a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, a founding member of AUKUS, trilateral security partnership between Australia, the United Kingdom, and the United States, the Commonwealth, Council of Europe, G7, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom and the United States, G20, NATO, OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OSCE, Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. The 6 official languages of the OSCE are English, French, German, Italian, Spanish and Russian, and the WTO. The UK was also a founding member state of the European Union, and a member of its predecessors, since 1973. The 6 official languages of the OSCE are English, French, German, Italian, Spanish and Russian. Almost all field operations of OSCE have been conducted in countries of former Yugoslavia and the former Soviet Union. Participating states, 57. Partners for cooperation, Middle East and North Africa states, Algeria, Egypt, Israel, Jordan, Morocco, Tunisia, Asia, Japan, 1992 present, South Korea, 1994 present, Thailand, 2000 present, Afghanistan, 2003 to 2021, Oceania, Australia, 70, 2009 present. Human rights in the United Kingdom concern the fundamental rights in law of every person in the United Kingdom. An integral part of the UK Constitution. Human rights derive from common law. The UK law had one of the world's longest human rights traditions. Today the main source of jurisprudence is the Human Rights Act 1998, which incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into domestic litigation. The first public call for the incorporation of the convention into national law was made in 1968 by Anthony Lester, who published a pamphlet entitled Democracy and Individual Rights. There was reluctant support for the convention back in the UK, where Attlee's Labour government was in office. Two aspects of the convention gave the United Kingdom's representatives to the Council of Europe cause for concern: the establishment of a European Court of Human Rights and the right of individual petition to the court. It was thought that the possibility to submit complaints was open to abuse and could be used for political purposes, notably by members of the Communist Party, rather than for genuine grievances. In addition, it was feared that the consequences of accepting individual petition would cause instability in the British colonies, as Britain's authority could be undermined. The election of Labour in May 1997 led to the publication of a white paper on the bill, Rights Brought Home. The Human Rights Bill. The bill was introduced by Lord Irvine to the House of Lords on 3 November 1997. Lord Irvine confirmed that the bill did not in fact incorporate the convention, but rather gave further effect in the United Kingdom to convention rights. The Human Rights Act 1998 seeks to give direct effect to the European Convention on Human Rights in domestic law by enabling claimants to bring an action in national courts instead of having to take their case before the European Court of Human Rights, as had previously been the case. The right to freedom of expression is generally seen as being the lifeblood of democracy. After the English Civil War, it was established that a jury could acquit a Quaker who preached to a crowd even against the judge's direction and against full and manifest evidence. The rights to freedom of association and freedom of assembly are central to the functioning of democracy because they are the basis for political organization and discourse. Political parties, trade unions, social campaign groups, and businesses all associate freely in democratic societies and take action upon that freedom, including through assemblies, strikes, or protests. Also protected in international law, the European Convention on Human Rights Article 11 states, "Everyone has the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and to freedom of association with others, including joining trade unions for the protection of their interests." Like with other rights, this cannot be restricted without a lawful justification that goes no further than necessary in a democratic society to protect security, safety, health, or other people's rights. Article 9 states that everyone has the right to freedom of conscience, including religion and belief. Only the manifestation of a belief can be limited on justifiable legal grounds as strictly necessary in a democracy. Article 6 of the Convention requires a fair trial, with a presumption of innocence, and legal aid if justice requires it, according to principles of natural justice. Article 7 prohibits criminal offenses applying retroactively to acts done before something was made criminal. The right to liberty of the person, to be free from the domination or servitude of others, and only to lose one's liberty by lawful judgment of his peers, or by the law of the land, has been fundamental to UK and English law since the Magna Carta. England is part of the United Kingdom, a constitutional monarchy with a parliamentary system. There has not been a government of England since 1707, when the Acts of Union 1707, putting into effect the terms of the Treaty of Union, joined England and Scotland to form the Kingdom of Great Britain. Before the Union, England was ruled by its monarch and the Parliament of England. Transport in England includes road, rail, air, and water networks. A radial road network totals 29,145 miles, 46,904 kilometers of main roads, 2,173 miles, 3,497 kilometers of motorways, and 213,750 miles, 344,000 kilometers of paved roads. The national rail network of 10,072 route miles, 16,116 kilometers, in Great Britain carries over 18,000 passenger and 1,000 freight trains daily. Urban rail networks and bus networks connecting cities and towns are widespread. There are many regional and international airports, with Heathrow Airport in London being the second busiest in the world and the busiest in Europe. The Department for Transport is the government department responsible for the transport network in England. Passenger transport has grown in recent years. Freight transport has undergone similar changes, increasing in volume and shifting from railways onto the road. 272 million passenger journeys were made on the 8 light rail and tram systems in England in 2018-19. 87% of adults in London walked at least once a week, the highest rate in the country. This was followed by Isles of Scilly, 83%, and Richmond upon Thames, 83%. 57% of adults in Cambridge cycled at least once a week. This was followed by Oxford, 39%, and Isles of Scilly, 35%. Driving is on the left. The usual maximum speed limit is 70 miles per hour, 112 km per hour, on motorways and dual carriageways. The adoption of plug-in electric vehicles is actively supported by the Department for Transport through the plug-in car and van grants schemes and other incentives. England has some of the highest number of electric vehicles on roads in Europe. Buses play a major role in the public transport of England, as well as seeing private use. England is covered by an extensive bus network throughout towns, cities, and rural areas. It is estimated that 95% of the population live within 5 minutes walk of a bus stop. Bus transport remains the most popular mode of transport throughout England. England's railway transport is largely based on services originating from rail terminus in major cities, operating in all directions on tracks mostly owned by Network Rail. The rail network in Great Britain is the oldest such network in the world. The system consists of 5 high-speed main lines: the West Coast, East Coast, Midland, Great Western and Great Eastern, which radiate from London to the rest of the country, augmented by wide regional rail lines and dense commuter networks and other high-speed lines within major cities and towns. During the age of steam locomotion, the railway industry in England strove to develop reliable technology for powering high-speed rail services between major cities. High-speed rail in England is provided on 5 upgraded railway lines running at top speeds of 125 miles per hour, 200 kilometers per hour, and one purpose-built high-speed line reaching 186 miles per hour, 300 kilometers per hour. Trains currently travel at 125 miles per hour, 200 kilometers per hour, on the East Coast Main Line, Great Western Main Line, Midland Main Line, parts of the cross-country route, and the West Coast Main Line. 2 cities in England have rapid transit systems. London Underground, commonly known as the Tube. Another system also in London is the separate Docklands Light Railway. Tram systems were popular in England in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. However, with the rise of the motorbus and later the car, they began to be widely dismantled. In the 1950s, the National Cycle Network was established to encourage cycling and walking throughout England. England is home to many of Europe's largest and busiest airports. London Heathrow, which handles over 80 million international passengers annually, is the largest airport in the UK. London serves as the largest aviation hub in the world by passenger traffic, with 6 international airports, handling over 180 million passengers in 2019, more than any other city. Major canal building began in England after the onset of the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century. Pupils in England can study transport and logistics in apprenticeship studies at further education and sixth form colleges. Professional development for those working in the transport and logistics sectors is provided by a number of professional institutes representing specific sectors. Education in England is overseen by the Department for Education. Local government authorities are responsible for implementing policy for public education and state-funded schools at a local level. State-funded schools may be selective grammar schools or non-selective comprehensive schools. All state schools are subject to assessment and inspection by the Government Department Ofsted, the Office for Standards in Education, Children's Services and Skills. England also has private schools, some of which are known as public schools, and home education. Legally, parents may choose to educate their children by any suitable means. The state-funded compulsory school system is divided into key stages, based upon the student's age by August 31st. The early years foundation stage is for ages 3 to 4. Primary education is divided into Key Stage 1 for ages 5 to 7 and Key Stage 2 for ages 7 to 11. Secondary education is divided into Key Stage 3 for ages 11 to 14 and Key Stage 4 for ages 14 to 16. 8. At the end of Year 11, at age 15 to 16, students typically take General Certificate of Secondary Education, GCSE, exams or other Level 1 or Level 2 qualifications. Education is compulsory until 18. Thus post-16 education can take a number of forms, and may be academic or vocational. This can involve continued schooling, known as sixth form, leading to A-levels or alternative Level 3 qualifications. It can also include work-based apprenticeships, traineeships and volunteering. The Regulated Qualifications Framework, RQF, covers national school examinations and vocational education qualifications. Higher education often begins with a 3-year bachelor's degree. Postgraduate degrees include master's degrees, either taught or by research, and doctoral-level research degrees that usually take at least 3 years. The Framework for Higher Education Qualifications, FHEQ, which is tied to the RQF, covers degrees and other qualifications from degree-awarding bodies. Some 93% of children between the ages of 3 and 18 are in education in state-funded schools without charge, other than for activities such as swimming, cultural visits, theater visits and field trips for which a voluntary payment can be requested. and limited charges at state-funded boarding schools. All schools are legally required to have a website where they must publish details of their governance, finance, curriculum intent and staff and pupil protection policies. Types of schools in England include academy, community schools, free school, foundation schools, voluntary aided schools, voluntary controlled schools, university technical colleges, UTCs, maths schools. State-funded schools are encouraged to provide childcare outside of school hours, including breakfast clubs and after-school curriculum activities, drama, computing, food preparation, arts, crafts, sports, science, etc. Approximately 7% of school children in England attend privately run, fee-charging private schools. Some independent schools for 13 to 18-year-olds are known for historical reasons as public schools, and for 8 to 13-year-olds as prep schools. Some schools offer scholarships for those with particular skills or aptitudes, or bursaries to allow students from less financially well-off families to attend. Higher education in England is provided by higher education, colleges, university colleges, universities and private colleges. Students normally enter higher education as undergraduates from age 18 onwards, and can study for a wide variety of vocational and academic qualifications, including certificates of higher education and higher national certificates at level 4, diplomas of higher education, higher national diplomas and foundation degrees at level 5. Bachelor's degrees, normally with honors, at level 6, and integrated master's degrees and degrees in medicine, dentistry, and veterinary science at level 7. Students who have completed a first degree can apply for postgraduate and graduate courses. These include graduate certificates, graduate diplomas, postgraduate certificates, postgraduate diplomas, postgraduate certificate in education, master's degrees, doctorates. Adult education. Continuing education or lifelong learning is offered to students of all ages. This can include the vocational qualifications mentioned above, and also 1 or 2-year access courses, the Open University, the Workers' Educational Association. Since 2018, English schools have been funded through a national formula. In August 2019, it was announced that the budget for schools and high needs would be increased by 6%, £2.6 billion, in 2020-21. £4.8 billion in 2021-22 and £7.1 billion in 2022-23 respectively, plus an extra £1.5 billion per year to fund additional pensions costs for teachers. Healthcare in England is mainly provided by the National Health Service, NHS, a public body that provides healthcare to all permanent residents in England, that is free at the point of use. The body is one of 4 forming the UK National Health Service. As health is a devolved matter, there are differences with the provisions for healthcare elsewhere in the United Kingdom. And in England it is overseen by NHS England, though the public system dominates healthcare provision in England. Private healthcare and a wide variety of alternative and complementary treatments are available for those willing and able to pay. The Secretary serves as the principal advisor to the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom on all health matters. The NHS provides the major part of healthcare in England, including primary care. In patient care, long-term healthcare, the NHS is free at the point of use for the patient, though there are charges associated with eye tests, dental care, prescriptions, and many aspects of personal care. The NHS uses general practitioners, GPs, to provide primary healthcare and to make referrals to further services as necessary. Integrated Care Systems (ICSs) were put on a statutory footing in England on 1 July 2022 by the Health and Care Act 2022, replacing clinical commissioning groups. A total of 42 ICSs across England now plan and coordinate services, with aims including better integration and reducing health inequalities. The NHS is divided conceptually into two parts, covering primary and secondary care, with trusts given the task of healthcare delivery. The NHS Constitution for England establishes the principles and values of the NHS in England. It sets out rights to which patients, public and staff are entitled, and pledges which the NHS is committed to achieve, together with responsibilities, which the public, patients and staff owe to one another to ensure that the NHS operates fairly and effectively. A patient needing specialist care at a hospital or clinic will be informed by the GP of the hospitals where they can get their treatment. Although the NHS has a high level of popular public support within the country, the national press is often highly critical of experiences, perceptions and reporting of the NHS, and this may have affected perceptions of the service within the country as a whole and outside. Medical royal colleges are professional bodies in the form of a royal college responsible for the development of and training in one or more medical specialities. Medical schools generally refer to departments within a universities which are involved in the education of future medical practitioners. All leading medical schools in England are state-funded, and their core purpose is to train doctors on behalf of the National Health Service. England has a small private healthcare sector. Private healthcare is sometimes funded by employers through medical insurance as part of a benefits package to employees, though it is mostly the larger companies that do. Insurers also market policies directly to the public. Most private care is for specialist referrals, with most people retaining their NHS GP as point of first contact. The Care Quality Commission, after inspecting more than 200 private sector hospitals, warned in April 2018 that informality in processes meant that systematic and robust safety procedures were not in place. Hospital consultants are generally not employed by the private hospitals where they have admitting rights, and the Commission said private companies could be reluctant to challenge them. Sport in England plays a prominent role in English society. Popular team sports in England include association football, cricket, field hockey, rugby union, rugby league, and netball. Major individual sports include badminton, athletics, tennis, boxing, golf, cycling, motorsport, and horse racing. Cricket is regarded as the national summer sport. Football is generally considered to be the popular sport, followed by cricket, tennis, and rugby. A number of modern sports were codified in England during the 19th century, among them cricket, rugby union, rugby league, football, field hockey, bandy, squash, chess, tennis, and badminton. The game of baseball was first described in 18th century England, the most popular sport in the UK. Association football was first codified in 1863 in London. It is known in the US and a few other countries as soccer. The impetus for this was to unify English public school and university football games. English football has a league system which incorporates thousands of clubs, and is topped by 4 fully professional divisions. The Elite Premier League has 20 teams and is the richest football league in the world. The other 3 fully professional divisions are run by the English Football League, the oldest league in the world, and include another 72 clubs. Annual promotion and relegation operates between these 4 divisions and also between the lowest of them and lower level or non-league football. There are a small number of fully professional clubs outside the top 4 divisions, and many more semi-professional clubs. Thus, England has over 100 fully professional clubs in total, which is considerably more than any other country in Europe. The two main cup competitions in England are the FA Cup, which is open to clubs down to level 10 of the English football pyramid structure, and the League Cup, currently known as the Carabao Cup, which is for the 92 professional clubs in the four main professional divisions only. Each season the most successful clubs from each of the home nations qualify for the three Europe-wide club competitions organized by UEFA. The UEFA Champions League, formerly the European Cup, the UEFA Europa League, formerly the UEFA Cup, and the UEFA Europa Conference League. England has produced winners in each of these competitions. The England national football team won the World Cup in 1966 when it was hosted in England. They reached the semi-finals of the World Cup in 1990 and 2018, and the quarter-finals in 1986, 2002 and 2006. They also made the quarter-finals of Euro 2004 and 2012. In the UEFA Nations League, launched in 2018-19, they were assigned to the top level of that competition, League A, and advanced to the semi-finals in that season. The FA hopes that the completion of the National Football Centre will go some way to improving the national team's performance. Cricket is another popular team sport, regarded as one of the national sports of England and the second most popular and followed sport in the country. Like association football, rugby union and rugby league both developed from traditional British football games in the 19th century. Rugby was codified by the Rugby Football Union in 1871. England won the 2003 Rugby World Cup, the first victory in the competition by a British team. Basketball is a minor sport in England. As of the 2006-07 season, the top-level league is the 10-team British Basketball League and second league is the 12-team English Basketball League. The teams are professional or semi-professional, but have modest resources. Hockey is a moderately popular recreational sport in England. The Great Britain women's hockey team won the 2016 Rio Olympics with over 10 million viewers on TV. The men's team won the hockey tournament at the 1988 Olympics. Ice hockey is Britain's largest indoor spectator sport. It has a long history in the UK and it is reasonably well supported, with the larger teams attracting thousands of fans to every game. The main league is the 10-team Professional Elite League. Lacrosse in England is played in both the men's, field and indoor, and women's, field, versions of the games and governed by English Lacrosse Association. England is seen as one of the birthplaces of bandy, beside Russia, where a similar game developed simultaneously. The match, which later has been dubbed the original bandy match, was held in London in 1875. Underwater hockey is a growing sport in England but is more established than other home nations as England was the sport's birthplace in South Sea. Tennis is the largest individual sport in England in terms of registered players and viewing audiences. Every year the Wimbledon Championships take place in London. England does not compete at the Olympic Games. Instead, English athletes compete as part of Great Team, Team GB. England has produced many squash world number ones and has been known to dominate the world rankings.